Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best. I want to talk about the Flames. Can you tell me why they play a little better on the power play away from the dome, and they actually have more success away from the dome?
I think they work a little harder away from home, away from the dome, the home of the dome.
The home dome?
But I don't think anybody really knows. I think a lot of those veteran guys like Tanguay and Iginla seem to play better on the road than they do in the Saddle Dome. I think that's the simplest answer. But nobody really knows. But they're on the road this week, and you know, we've been saying all along what the Flames, like the last 2 or 3 years, what the Flames should do to get better. But I honestly believe, Mike, the next 5 weeks, from now till around Christmas time, is an important time, maybe a big time, a crucial time for this franchise. Because to me, if they don't get back into contention, they don't get into the top 8 and really prove that they're a good team, not just win one, lose one, win one, lose one kind of team, I think it'll be time. If they don't improve, I think it's time to make drastic moves. And that is Kiprusoff and Iginla, which I've been saying all along.
Sure.
But now's the time to do it, because if they don't get in by Christmas time, they're not going to get in. Here's a stat that I stole from Peter Marr.
Okay.
From the Fan 960, Flames longtime play-by-play guy.
This is the first time you've done this?
First time I've stole ever a story, ever. He says the record shows that if a team is not in the top 8 by the American Thanksgiving, which is this week, they don't get in the playoffs at all.
Wow.
Which seems kind of strange, because there's still lots of hockey to go into December, January, February, March, into April. But apparently the stats show that if you're not in the top 8 in your conference after the American Thanksgiving, you won't make the playoffs.
Do you not think that people around town, and maybe people within that organization, look back at last year and what happened, say, well, you know, we turned it around last year, we can probably do the same thing. But, I mean, last year was last year. I mean, and, you know, they should have made the playoffs had they not run into a pile of injuries near the end.
David Moss, Brendan Morrison,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of think they might think that, Mike, but they also thought they would carry over from last spring into this fall, which didn't happen either. So I don't know what the management's thinking. I would just like them to be honest and say, okay. Because what I love watching the Flames now and seeing Paul Byron, Roman Horak, TJ Brody, and even Derek Smith on defense. It's fun to watch those young guys. Paul, I mean, I don't know if you've met this Paul Byron they got in the Regeer trade. You go in the dressing room, Mike, you think you're in a AAA midget locker room. The guy looks so young looking and so slight. He's probably 21 or maybe 22, something like that. But I think from a fan's point of view, it's fun to watch these young guys. So why not make drastic moves? If they're still treading water, spinning their wheels by Christmas time, 10th, 11th place, you know, 5, 6 points out, the same old story. Let's do something serious, get more younger guys from other organizations, from trades. Let's make that exciting for a couple of years and rebuild.
Well, it would be tough. Kiprusoff is playing very well right now. It would be tough to see him go. Jerome right now, frustrated somewhat. And,
it's amazing to me.
And even admits to everybody, hey, I'm having a bad year. I've got to get things right. One of the reasons they're not winning and scoring goals is because of that.
He looks very average on the ice right now. Now again, this is we're talking now before they go on the road in this 4-game road trip. So who knows how Jerome will play. But watching him play now, I am just surprised how average or a little above average Jerome looks. When he goes one-on-one with a defenseman in the corner, he doesn't seem to have that extra strength he once had. He doesn't seem to have that speed or that power. I mean, he's never a fast skater, but just that extra power like he once had, and that concerns me. Here's something interesting. Jerome said before they left on the road trip, he did admit this weekend, publicly, he says, yeah, I have to admit, I now wonder what it would be like to be on the top and not have to worry about getting into the playoffs. I've never heard Jerome say that before, but he did say, yeah, I sometimes wonder what it would be like to be at the top. I wonder if that's an indication that maybe his mindset's changing to his situation here.
Well, everyone seems to keep going back to this conversation. Look at what he did with Sidney Crosby in the Olympics. Now, just hypothetically thinking, and I know it won't happen, but wouldn't that be a trade? I mean, they are so deep. They are a team that you could say, okay, this guy and that guy for Jerome would make both teams better.
Yeah, I mean, here, I agree with you on that. Here's what I think they have to do. I think the Flames scouting staff and hockey management people have to look at, see who are the best prospects, the can't-miss guys out there.
Yeah.
I don't know all the names. Does Pittsburgh have a guy who is in junior or in the minors that is just, he is a can't-miss guy?
Yeah.
That, to me, is the team you go for. Just like, I've said this before, back in around 1995, when Al Coates, the then GM of the Flames, was going to trade Joe Nieuwendyk, he looked around the whole NHL for 2 or 3 months. He told me this. He says, we identified the teams that had the best can't-miss projects, and it was Colorado for Robin Regehr, when he got Robin Regehr, and that's when he said, Dallas has the best can't-miss guy in Jerome McGinley.
Yeah.
Let's trade Nieuwendyk to Dallas. Then a year or two later, he traded Fleury to Colorado and got the can't-miss guy for the Colorado Avalanche, and that was Robin Regehr. So to me, Mike, does Pittsburgh have that can't-miss prospect? I don't know.
No.
And a good guy on the roster, too. So,
Yep.
and again, that's why I say, when you watch Roman Horak, you watch these young guys in the Flames, I wouldn't mind if you had a can't-miss guys coming up if the Flames lose, much like watching the Oilers.
Yep.
People love watching them now. So that's what I think has to happen.
Tired of going to redneck barbecues? Well, you better call Rocky Mountain Barbecue. Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best. Great tasting food, clean and efficient service. Check us out online or call Rocky Mountain Barbecue.